Haskell has developed our nationally recognized safety program and this video orientation to help provide you with the necessary skills to work safely on our projects. At Haskell, safety is a foundational measure of success, so it's important to understand and appreciate what it means to us. Safety is a team effort. We're all directly involved and deeply committed in ensuring the safety of every Haskell team member and of every person that steps foot on our job sites. Safety is also about making the right choices. Please pay close attention to the following video featuring Russ and Laurel Youngstrom as they share their life before and after Russ made the decision to disregard safety. At Haskell, we have made the choice to make safety a priority and to provide you with a safe place to work. We ask that you make that same right choice and make safety your own top personal priority. Thank you for participating in this safety orientation, and I look forward to seeing you at the job site.
I was on the outside of the Space Needle doing some work, and I saw this blonde, attractive lady go up in the elevator.
I was about 22 years old when I met Russ, and we were both working at the Space Needle.
I asked her out on a date, and immediately she said yes. And we went out for our first outing. She started getting on the motorcycle, and we did a lot of fun stuff on the bike. And that was something that was nice, that she wasn't afraid of that. So she was able to adapt with my personality. But to have her say yes was fantastic. We'd known each other 3 months exactly, and then we got married. I was adopted when I was 9 years old into a really good family. But my dad was awfully mean, so I didn't argue with him very often. I was always called stupid, you're not gonna make it. I would do something good, but he would still point out that I can do it faster. I was too slow, and so it was easier to start taking shortcuts, not to get yelled at. For Christmas, when I was 13 years old, my dad bought me climbing gear. I didn't know what it was. And then a couple days later, he told me to put on the climbing gear and start limbing the branches on the trees. I'd go up about 90 feet, then he would say, I'd get ready to come down to go up another tree, just jump to the other tree, climbing the trees, limbing them, topping trees. I always turned into the risk taker because I was always told I wasn't smart enough to get a good job. So that pushed me, you gotta work really hard, and it wasn't about safety, it was about making the money and making it through life. When I was working at this Space Needle, a wonderful gentleman asked me if I would be interested in working as a commercial painter. And I said yes. The money was a lot better, and so I quit working at the Space Needle and then became a commercial painter.
It was November, and it was a Friday.
That morning I woke up, kissed Laurel goodbye, looked in Spencer's room, he was still asleep, and went to work. Our goal was to run our safety lines and swing staging from 180 feet down. And we got that done. Then the foreman and supervisors inspected everything, and we got the okay to start power washing. And so we started power washing, things are going good. It was lunchtime. So had lunch real quick, got ready to go back to work, and the paper mill stopped a small group of us and said, you have to go to our safety meeting. And the weather was absolutely terrible. And so walked up this flight of stairs, saw the clipboard, I signed it, got a cup of coffee and a Snickers bar, grabbed the chair in front of me and put my feet up, and I was bored for 45 minutes listening to this person talk about safety. And then after that was done, we started power washing, and then we noticed the bad guy. We saw our safety guy in his truck, and immediately I tied off. He watched us for a little bit, and then he finally drove away, and I was the first one to unhook again. I looked down, it was only 30 feet, and I felt comfortable that I could catch myself, it won't happen to me. So we got ready to pick up the staging, and it was heavier than we expected, so it was my idea, let's climb on top of the handrail. I climbed up, crossed my legs around the top rail, I wiggled, felt comfortable, I wasn't slipping at all. I looked down, I could see cross beams, conduit, and so I looked at the friend of mine and we lifted it up, and the other gentleman pulled it with a rope. And by the time I could even blink, the unit came back and hit me in the chest and threw me back about 10 feet. By the time I wasn't able to grab anything, first thing that happened was it gets quiet. While I was falling, I was trying to find my legs. So it went slow motion and I could finally see my legs, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna roll, hit on my right side, get up and walk it off. I thought I had this. And right at the last minute, my right leg got stuck in some airline. Stopped me, then bungeed me back up, and at that point, I was completely lost. First thing I felt was a big smack on the back of my head, like a pumpkin hitting the concrete. And then I felt another weird pop, snap or a pop, and then it's like, get up. I tried to walk it off. I couldn't get up. Then I tried to take a breath, and I was like, okay, I can't breathe. Relax, walk this off, and still couldn't get up. Then I realized I can't breathe, and so my focus was just try to breathe, and tried to take one last little gasp, and couldn't. The paramedic showed up and started cutting my clothes off, and then when one of them said to call air vac, I realized it was bad. And while I was laying there while they were cutting my clothes off, one of the medics leaned over and looked at me and asked me why I wasn't tied off. I didn't realize until later I landed about a foot away from my safety line.
My supervisor came to me and she said, "You have a phone call. You don't want your family to get that phone call." All they could tell me was that my husband had been in a serious accident and that I had to get to the hospital right away.
And so they put me through the MRI machine, and I came out the other side, and this female trauma nurse lady leaned over, got 2 inches from my face and said, "You broke your back in 3 places, severed your spinal cord, you're confined to a wheelchair." No, don't buy it. That doesn't happen to a person like me. I'm the tough guy, I'm the jokester. I think about 2 hours went by, and then it happened. Laurel walks into the room.
The first thing that I heard was from Russ, and he said, "You know, they say I'm paralyzed and I'll spend the rest of my life in the wheelchair." I thought he was joking, because I mean, that's what attracted me to him in the first place, is his sense of humor. But he wasn't joking.
And I just left that morning, walked out, and went to work. Then 4 months later, I come home in a wheelchair. This is the result of my risk.
Once he came home from the hospital, I learned everything I never wanted to know about nursing and taking care of him. And I also lost my job because I was late so much.
With my injuries, I've had 12 shoulder surgeries on the left, 1 right shoulder, 7 hips, 4 baclofen pumps, 2 backs, 7 hips, 3 hands. This does not go away. I'm going to die 10 to 15 years shorter. My life expectancy is. Every morning, first thing I do is I wake up, and first thing I do is put on a diaper. I've been wearing a diaper since I was 30 years old. And then the next thing I do is, this is a catheter, and this is my blue pad. I can't use a commode chair, a toilet, or a bedpan. And there's another thing that's tough, is morphine and oxy. I'm supposed to take 8 oxys a day and 3 morphine pills a day because of the left shoulder discomfort. If I did what these bottles say, I would not be able to function. I've had MRSA 12 times, osteo and bone infection 8 times. I'm on lifetime antibiotics. And we all know what these will do to your system eventually. What do? Say no to these or take a chance of getting infected again? I have half a body and I've gone through 31 surgeries in 24 years. My body can only take so much. This does not happen to a person like me, the tough guy, the jokester. People that did see the fall had to go to counseling for several weeks. They shut the job site down for 4 days. That second safety meeting, the last flight of stairs I walked up to, was a fall protection safety meeting an hour and a half before I fell. I completely blew that off. And then an hour and a half later, I'm on my way to the hospital. That gentleman there was to help us. We still argue. He still thinks he could have done something to keep me from falling. People ask me, did your fall protection fail? I go, no, I did. I let them down. I had the training, I had signed the papers, certificates, but still, this won't happen to me. I just never followed the rules. And he put my safety harness buckle on his desk for 21 years. And so when somebody would come in with a stupid idea, he would hand him my buckle and then tell him my story. This was all my fault. It was my decision to unhook, and it would have taken me maybe a second to tie off. And the only reason I'm still here is to spread this message that you need to be safe at work. Think of your family when you're at work. Laurel and I have one child. Spencer was 2.5 when I got hurt. We were going to have another child until the accident happened. One of the toughest things to be told is that you cannot have a child. And I wanted Daddy's little girl. And due to my negligence, that wasn't able to happen. Never thought of my family at work. Number one focus was me. Spencer asked me, why didn't you think of me? He crawled up on my lap and I just hugged him and said, sorry. That's all I had. The reason we do this is to try to let people know that it's not worth being unsafe. This will happen to you. You'll end up like this or worse. Listen and follow Haskell's Safe Matters orientation and all other safety practices so you don't have to live like this.
When you have to choose, choose safe.
In keeping with the pillars of our Haskell 2025 vision, the safety and health of our team members, trade partners, and customers is essential to our success. Our strong safety culture contributes directly to several of Haskell's key initiatives: driving operational excellence, providing great customer experiences, enhancing our use of technology and innovation, achieving top quartile growth, and ultimately providing all of us the best job of our lives. Achieving these goals requires a team commitment to safety. The video you just watched is an example of what can happen when you choose to work unsafe. Our orientation and code of safe practices will provide you the tools you need to work safely. Your personal safety is our number one priority. We ask for this same commitment from you in return. Remember, when you choose, please choose safe.